What's going on, everybody, and welcome on into episode 223 of the Garage Beers podcast. And we got a great show planned for you this week. In just a little bit, we're going to get to our special guest, an old buddy of ours that we've been talking to for years. He's going to jump back in with us, Hayden Grove from Cleveland.com, and singing at any location you might catch him at all around the city of Cleveland. He's going to come in. We're going to talk about the Guardians, who look like they're back on track. We had the trade deadline. May even get into the Browns in a little bit, depending on how long we talk about the Guardians, but we'll certainly get into the Browns, their time out at the Greenbrier. We'll talk a little bit about the Olympics because we are in full swing of the Olympics. And we got a fun game we're going to play at the end of the show to knock it out. So we got a jam-packed 90 minutes of Garage Beers here tonight, and we're so glad that you have joined us. With you, as always, I'm your host, Michael Keefe at Garage Beers. Mike, and joining me in the garage tonight, first over on the east side of Cleveland. Find him online at Garage Beers. Chad, it's Chad Meyer. What's up, Chad?
How are you?
How you doing?
All right, good. Boys, at the peak of your athletic prowess, whenever that might have been, what? Huh?
I said I haven't hit it yet.
No, you'll never hit it then. What sport, Olympic sport, do you think you could have competed in the best? Nothing.
Not one.
Yeah? There wasn't one sport that you would pursue. You could be like, I could probably...
Dude, have you ever seen the Olympics?
Oh, yeah, I'm watching them right now.
Some people are like, well, I'm pretty darn good when I go to my buddy's house and I play ping pong. Have you watched I sat and watched 2 hours of table tennis yesterday.
Wow, you're a loser.
I would never hit a ball. I would never hit a ball.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't either.
Contact.
Yeah.
And if I did hit it, it would launch like backwards.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe.
Summer or winter? That might change
one.
it a little bit.
Sure,
for
either
me.
one.
I'm summer. I'm going to go with field hockey because that's like very similar to hurling, which I used to play.
So you could be a goalie.
Yeah, I could play a midfielder, baby.
Well, those hips, you're pretty flexible.
Rec league hurling, you could have competed in field hockey.
Yeah, that was the question. What would you pursue if you could like at your peak ability?
Yeah,
maybe I took it wrong because I thought more of like
what could I have meddled in?
What do I think I was closest?
No,
to?
I wouldn't say meddled in. Like, what sport would you pick to compete in?
All right, yeah.
Like, I guess not compete, but like, what sport do you think you would have had like the best chance and could have been the most competitive in?
That's the way I took it, and the answer was none. Zero sports.
Oh.
Maybe like archery, because like that's just practice, right? Like you just gotta.
Yeah.
It's not the most athletically gifted sport that's in the Olympics.
Wow.
It's not. It's archery. You just that's more of a skill.
Yeah. Summer, I think I would have gone equestrian.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
I would never put my balls through that, to be honest with you.
I used to ride horses a lot growing up. And, we didn't jump or anything.
Ooh, handball.
But I ran fast enough. Ooh, handball's an interesting sport.
I got my hands.
That's a fun one.
It's so weird to me, like watching the goalies just do this.
Did you guys ever play it?
Yeah.
At BG, we had intramural handball, and it was like as hell. And it is not an easy sport to play.
No, and we didn't have like the sticky ball. We had like the foam, like elementary school gymnasium balls.
I forgot to throw out my real answer. My real answer, badminton. That would be awesome. That would be, and I love playing badminton. I would be so into it.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. I have played intramural water polo before, and I couldn't even fathom trying to do that on an Olympic level. And I was just the goalie, and I had trouble treading water for that long.
We were having that discussion. Joe was here last weekend, and we were at Great Lakes having lunch, and water polo was on. We were having that discussion, and I think legitimately, I think it's the most physically grueling. The sport that came on right afterwards was rugby. I'll play rugby 10 times out of 10 over water polo. And it's just grueling. It's unbelievable.
I mean, it's hard enough to tread water without someone all over you, just beating you up.
You're right,
right? But to do it for one
drown you.
Hey, if I go down, just leave me at the bottom of the pool. Fish me out later.
That's it. I'm spent. Have Bob the cap catcher come get me.
We will spend more time on this conversation later. We haven't even brought in Joe yet. Joe, down in Nashville, Tennessee. Find him online at Garage Beers. Joe, it's Joey Whalen. What's up, buddy?
What up? I'm here. Olympics. That's all that's on the mind right now. And trade deadline. Exciting stuff today.
Big stuff today. Big
stuff
we got
today.
Medals. We got ceremonies. We got the Guardians making some moves and also winning some games. We got a lot to get into. We're going to get into a lot. And again, as the show goes on, here on the OBR streaming network, which again, make sure you are tuned into the OBR streaming network. If you're on YouTube, on Twitch, smash the like button, hit subscribe, get to the OBR.com. Just make sure you're following the OBR. Right now, 4 days a week of wall-to-wall Browns coverage on the OBR streaming network, and that's going to expand. We've got more shows coming. It's a wild situation coming up with the OBR as we get closer to Browns season. And then you get to hang out with us and talk Guardians and Olympics, and even Browns we'll get into later. But I did see, as we were just chatting about the Olympics there and getting our intro going, I did see our special guest pop up in the background. And this guy's a buddy of ours. This is a guy we've had on a couple of times, and a guy that's just really good at being a sports reporter around the city of Cleveland. He's got his finger on the pulse of what's going on with our Cleveland sports teams, and then you can catch him crooning and entertaining the crowds all over the city of Cleveland. Just a really good guy, and we're really excited to have him back. So let's bring him in right now. You can find him online at H_Grove on Twitter. It's Hayden Grove. What's up, buddy?
How you doing, guys?
Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Sorry, I'm done. Hi, Hayden.
How you doing, man?
Good. How about yourself, man?
I'm good. I ended up with last-minute tickets to the Def Leppard show tonight, so I'm in the press box at Progressive Field.
Oh, let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
You're just chilling at the Def Leppard show?
Yeah. My manager had some extra tickets. It was a long story, but I got here and I was like, you know what? We can find a way to get to the press box and do the show. So we're doing both. We're doing everything.
Amazing.
Have they taken the stage yet?
Journey just left the stage, so Def Leppard will be on shortly.
Oh, so we picked the right time.
Yeah, you picked it. It was a perfect time, actually. Which is
Are we having real important question, Hayden? Are we having concert beers?
I have not had one yet. I had a pre-concert beer, but I did not have one here yet.
That's okay. We'll do our Garage Beers of the Week segment after Hayden goes back to the concert because we want to spend our time wisely here before. Why is it the Journey and Def Leppard, by the way, always go on tour together?
I don't know. They must like each other. There must be a relationship there. You probably want to go on tour with somebody you like to hang out with, I would assume.
Yeah.
I saw that concert at Blossom in 2004.
Okay, there you go.
20 years ago.
Cool.
Same concert.
Yeah, it was
Def Leppard
also
Journey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Huh.
What was your guys' first concert?
Ooh.
I believe my first concert was John Mayer at Blossom.
Oh,
Ooh, did Maroon 5 open for him? Because I was at that one.
They might have. I can't remember. It was a long time. It was probably 2000. I was probably 10, so it was probably somewhere around there. I don't know if Maroon 5 would have opened for them or not.
Yeah, it's cool. I was in college. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. But they did. I went to a concert at Blossom. Maroon 5 opened for John Mayer, so it might have been.
That would be an incredible show. An incredible show.
What about you, Joe?
I think it was a Def Leppard show. There might have been one before then, but I don't remember if there was one before that. So it was that Def Leppard Journey show at Blossom.
Yeah,
circa 2004.
Chad, I'm saving mine. I'm saving mine till the end. You go, Chad.
I don't know because I think mine will top yours. So you might want to go.
No, it won't.
Why, is it a boy band?
Richfield Coliseum, baby. Richfield Coliseum, New Kids on the Block.
Oh. Mine was also Richfield Coliseum.
Ooh, baby.
Mine was also Richfield Coliseum, 1988, Michael Jackson.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Mine's better. Mine's better.
Winner.
Yeah.
You know, Frank Sinatra opened the Richfield Coliseum. So there you go.
I remember that. Yeah. I remember that little fun fact.
That is awesome. All right. So, Hayden, it's so good to have you back, man. It's good to talk to you again. And it's appropriate that you're sitting at the press box there at Progressive Field because we want to get things kicked off with the Cleveland Guardians, who I think it's most appropriate to talk about what happened today, which was the MLB trade deadline. And the Cleveland Guardians make two deadline moves in acquiring Lane Thomas, the outfielder from the Washington Nationals, who I don't even know how that worked because they were out they played a night game in Arizona last night, and then he got to Detroit to play a day game today, and he was in the starting lineup. So Lane Thomas, I think did he get a single? I think he had a single. I think he got his first hit with the Guardians. Yeah. And then today it was announced during that game, they made a move to get, and I'm hoping this is a sneaky good move as I think it could be. They trade for starting pitcher Alex Cobb from the San Francisco Giants. He was an all-star last year. He hasn't pitched this year due to an injury. We in Cleveland will remember Alex Cobb remember when they made that wild card game against the Rays, like Tito's beginning of his tenure, and they got shut down? Well, that was Alex Cobb that pitched against the Guardians that shut him down in that wild card game. Hayden Grove, man, just your thoughts on what you saw from the trade deadline with the Cleveland Guardians.
It was less about what I saw with the Cleveland Guardians, more what I saw from other teams. You know, you were getting a little worried there for a second. Okay, the Yankees made a move for Jazz Chisholm. You got, the Phillies making moves, the Orioles making moves. The teams that you're trying to compete with atop the standings in Major League Baseball, and the Guardians are kind of like sitting there, and you're kind of like, okay, are they going to make a move? And they did. And I thought it was the Lane Thomas move I really liked. I thought that was, par for the course for what they, have done in the past. Maybe not a guy that's going to be there forever, and not a guy they're going to have to pay a ton of money, but a guy that fits their clubhouse and and fits the lineup and what they want to do. So I really like the Lane Thomas move, and the Alex Cobb move I like too, but you're right. It's a little more risky, but low risk, high reward. That's the words we're looking for. A guy that's pitched in Major League Baseball a long time. Like you said, 2013 wild card game against the Guardians shut him down here at Progressive Field. But a guy that seems ready to go. He has a little blister on his finger right now. But other than that, has overcome the other injuries that he's had. So I like it. But my problem more so is that I like what the Guardians did, but the fact that the Orioles went out and traded, I think they traded 9 guys to get 7 guys, and they added Eloy Jimenez. And that's going to be their competition if you're looking for a World Series. The Yankees added Jazz Chisholm to a team that's already loaded with stars, loaded with players. So do I think the Guardians did enough? I don't know. I'm just happy they didn't stand pat. I'm happy they didn't stand pat. I think this team will definitely win the American League Central Division. I think that's right now a foregone conclusion if they just continue to play decent baseball. But did they do enough to compete with Baltimore, to compete with the Yankees? I don't know.
Did you see, by the way, they're playing right now, but Jazz Chisholm has 2 home runs tonight?
Yes. Yep. And with the win, and with the Yankees win, the Guardians will be tied for the best record in Major League Baseball with the Phillies. So,
thank you, Jazz.
Yeah, exactly. Some good things, some not so good, right?
No, you know what? It's I think people started to get worried before they made that move yesterday.
Yep.
But I'll tell you, I never worried. And guys, we've talked about this. Chad and Joe, we've talked about this a lot on this show. This is what we've come to expect from the Cleveland Guardians. Or the Indians before them, which is if you think they're going to go out and make splashy moves in the offseason, you're wrong. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen until they have a different structure and they can expand salaries if that ever happens. Having said that, every year with this kind of tree that they've had, starting with Mark Shapiro and now working its way into their current front office, if they're competitive at the trade deadline, they've never stood pat. Some years they've gone out and made bigger moves than others, but whether it was Josh Donaldson one year, whether it was Jay Bruce, or whether it was Andrew Miller, or they always go out and find a way to bolster their lineup and their rotation in some way. And so I would have been shocked. A lot of people, I think there was a report that came out. I don't remember who even wrote the report. But there was a report that came out that said they didn't think the Guardians were even going to do anything. I was like, man, that would shock me. And they did. They went out and made a couple moves. And I'll tell you, guys, I feel like it's about just limiting holes at this point. There's a couple holes with the Guardians. They've had a couple holes. They've got a couple question marks. They still have question marks. But the 2 moves they made, especially if Alex Cobb can come back, get over this blister. He's going to make one more rehab start, I believe, and then he'll be up with the big club. If he could pitch like last year, you've limited those holes. And for a team that's going to be tied tonight, if the Yankees win, for the best record in baseball, that's a pretty good move that they went out and made.
Yeah, I like what they did. Again, I'm not taking away from what they did. I think it was, you're right. They have always done this. They have always edited the deadline. And I was not necessarily worried, just a little bit like, okay, like it's getting close here. Are they going to make a move? And they did. But yeah, you're right. The Guardians are never really making the splashy move. And I think this could have been the year where they could have gone out and got a guy like Eloy Jimenez. They could have gone out and got maybe a bigger piece than they got. And that's where I'm kind of like, should they have gone all in? Should they have maybe? I think my issue specifically with what the Guardians did isn't so much the fact that who they got. It's the fact that they have so many guys that are kind of on that quadruple A Major League Baseball. They're kind of in the middle there. Like, I feel like they could have used some of those guys to get maybe a bigger piece, because those guys are not going to end up factoring into the Major League Baseball team later this season. Those guys are going to be either casualties of those guys are going to be Columbus Clippers, or maybe they'll pinch hit here and there for the Major League squad. So I was saying, like, okay, maybe they could have gotten somebody like a Gabe Arias, and maybe that could have sweetened the deal for a guy like Eloy Jimenez. So I don't dislike what they did. I think the hauls that they gave up were fine. I just feel like they had a lot of ammo and they didn't necessarily use it.
Right, and especially in with a franchise like this. I mean, yes, whenever they've been in contention, they always have made moves, but do they make the right moves? I mean, it remains to be seen. And I think that's a big reason why that fans of the Guardians get so impatient with this team, right? Because let's be honest, the contending years are fun. When this team is good, the contending years are so much fun. But this is also a team that has trouble stringing together contending years, right? So when this team is in contention, especially with having an incredible year like they're having this year, I think you can understand why the fans want to just, and people just want them to go for it, right? But is this their version of going for it, or could they have done more?
But that's what I think. I think you articulated better than I could what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
It felt like other teams went for it, and the Guardians kind of said, "Okay, we're gonna 3/4 go for it, or we're gonna like half go for it." You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like, okay, we're gonna swing for the fences, and maybe that's okay. Maybe next year we'll be looking at this team and saying, "Oh, well, that was actually good. They didn't do that last year. The Yankees end up being a juggernaut, or the Orioles end up being a juggernaut. And then the Guardians next year have a better team, a better farm system, and can do more." But if you're looking at just this season, I think it's a little bit of a catch-22. If you're looking at just this season, I don't think they did enough. If you're looking at, this season and beyond, okay, then I like what they did more so than maybe getting rid of, 7 to 9 prospects for guys that might only fill a year in or two. So, I agree with you completely that that's the way to look at it. And I don't necessarily know if this year they went for it. And I think that a lot of fans wanted them to go for it, and I just don't think they did. And that's okay. I think that's okay. I think that you can still win a World Series without going all in at the trade deadline. I think you can still win a World Series, with the roster that you have. Baseball is a very funny and fickle game. So it's not always the best teams that wins the World Series. It's the team that gets hot at the right time, the team that gets a pitcher that's going at the right time, something like that.
Yeah, that's why I do kind of go nuts when I hear people. I see people like, "Oh, well, the Guardians better get going," and it's like game 90. I'm like, well, yeah. I guess I'll worry about them in game 140. Like, the baseball season's just too long.
Yeah, I will say the only thing I'll kind of clap back on is I don't look at the guys. Like, if you're talking about the teams that the guys you've talked about, the teams that maybe went for it, guys like Eloy Jimenez has 5 homers on the year, and he's been hurt like he is every year. And I think he's hitting like 220 or something like that. Like, I don't know. Eloy Jimenez, he does something for me like 5 years ago. I don't know if he's doing anything for me at this point. Now, maybe with a new lineup around him and he's not playing for the White Sox, and maybe he figures out that he actually likes baseball anymore, because I can imagine you hate baseball when you play for the White Sox. Maybe that's different. But even Jazz is a good player. He's a pretty good player. He's pretty inconsistent. He's a 240 hitter. He's got 13 home. I just don't.
I think there's a lot.
I think Hayden, is a lot of teams didn't make those kind of guys available. Like, some of the guys that we thought, oh man, if the Guardians could get their hands on these, look at the Angels. The Angels held on to some guys that we thought were going to be available, and the Tigers held on to some guys. I know they made that trade for Flaherty at the end to the Dodgers, but like, teams really held on to their players, I think, a lot more than I can remember this year.
Oh, they did. Yeah, for sure. There was quite a few guys that, you thought were going to get dealt and didn't. Kopech from the White Sox. I mean, guys like that. It's just, it was a tough year in that regard. But those teams, in my opinion, are kind of dumb because the prices were high.
Right.
Like, the prices were high. Like, this was the year. Like, maybe there weren't as many splash moves this year. Like, there were a couple for sure, but maybe there weren't as many splash moves this year as in the past. But this year you could get a haul, and there seemed like there were more deals this year than in the years past. Just maybe little smaller deals, but deals that got done because of the hauls that people were getting. So I think you're right, though. I don't hate what the Guardians did. I don't even dislike what the Guardians did. I like what the Guardians did. I just look at, some of the teams around them saying, okay, the Yankees went out and got Jazz, and maybe the Guardians could have used another starter that wasn't, or that has pitched this season, unlike the guys they brought in who haven't pitched this season. But I think Alex Cobb would be a good fit. I think, he brings, experience. He brings a good fastball. He brings a lot to this rotation. You add Boyd in there, left-handed presence, and you pray to God that Tristan McKenzie or Logan Allen can find it again just a little bit, to give it a little something, because they've been pretty horrendous down in AAA too. So I don't know how long it's going to take for them to find a way back, but you only need really 3 or 4 for the postseason, and you feel good about Tanner Bybee, you feel good about Gavin Williams. Can you find lightning in a bottle with either Alex Cobb or Matthew Boyd, or maybe one of the other guys that's down there in the minor leagues?
I got to say, and you just transitioned us perfectly, because, again, I don't want to keep you too long. I want to get you out of here around 9:30 just so you can go enjoy the concert, hang out with the girl, enjoy a little music. But you transitioned us perfectly, because let's talk about that game today. And let's talk about the way this Guardians team is playing, not just sweeping the final series with the Tigers. Thank God we don't have to play them anymore. They just played us
so many games against the Tigers.
You had to feel good about Gavin today. That's for sure.
Gavin Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, for the question marks around the rotation, Bybee's going to be good. Gavin Williams, I think, made a lot of people who are stressed about the rotation feel much better today, because he was unbelievable against the Tigers.
Yeah, they love Gavin, obviously. Big arm, big size. They love what he brings. They love his ability, his strikeout ability. They love the big fastball. And they were banking on Gavin coming in and having good years. Yeah. So I'm glad to see that he when you have an injury like that and you're working your way back, it's so different. You're going to need a little time. You can't judge. Yeah, he was 0-3 with 5-something ERA, but you got to give him a little time. You got to give him a little time to get acclimated. And a start like this, where maybe you weren't facing the Tigers' best lineup, but you know what? You're facing their lineup, and you went out and you were battling the elements. You were on the road. Maybe this is what kind of gets him going. But so I think you do feel confident about him and Tanner Bybee at this point, and good, because you needed to feel good about some starting pitching this year, because it has just been tough. It has been tough, and we are not used to this watching the Guardians. The Guardians, you are pretty much always saying, okay, the pitching's there, where's the hitting? Well, this year it's been the opposite. The hitting's been there. You got multiple guys that are nearing 30 home runs. You got Stephen Kwan, who's led the league and no longer leading the league in batting average. And you've had an all-star in David Fry, but you've been used to having that starting pitching, and this year it hasn't been there. So to have at least 2 guys that maybe you can say, okay, you feel good when you're going into a start with Tanner Bybee. You feel good going into a start with Gavin Williams. That's got to be a good feeling for the team and for the fans.
God, I think what gives me hope for this team more so than, let's take 2 years ago, for example, where it was really that starting pitching that they leaned on, and it was so good. And then they had clutch hitting, right? It wasn't big hitting. They weren't near the top of the league offensively in really anything in 2022. Whereas this year, they're in the top of the league in certain things. They're middle of the league. Like, the fact that they are middle of the league in home runs is such a difference maker for this team.
Yeah, bottom line, they're just way better than they have been offensively.
But the thing that gives you hope, if they can, like you nailed it, Hayden, if you can get 3 or 4 guys that you're comfortable with going into the playoffs, if it's Bybee and Gavin Williams and Cobb, and then pick one of the other guys, you're at a point with this team that they just got to get you 5 innings.
Yes.
Because once you hit, And this reminds me a little bit of 2016 now. Those
Yeah.
starters were better, but all they had to do was get you 5 innings. Kluber and those starters were good in 2016.
Kluber was a lot better, yes. But like you were,
They
you're
still were
also
trying
dealing
out
with-
Josh Tomlin. You're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
You were dealing
You're
with
right.
like a Tomlin situation, and then Bauer was up and
The
down with the drone. Yeah, so but I get exactly what you're saying. You're right. This team reminds me more of that team because of the bullpen. The bullpen was the strong suit there. You had no doubt that when you were going to the bullpen, you were going to get a good outing, and that's exactly what you feel about this team, and that's why this team has been in it. If it wasn't for the bullpen being as good as they've been, this team would be nowhere near where they are right now. The starting pitching has been horrendous from a lot of the year, but that bullpen has come in and they've been fantastic. And Emmanuel Clase is the best reliever in Guardians history, without a doubt. He's going to kill every record that they've ever had. And you add, some of the great bullpen arms. Cade Smith, you've added to that. Barlow has even come on a little bit. Hunter Gaddis has been great. Like you look at this bullpen, you're like, okay, you feel good about that, even if you're only getting 4 or 5 innings from your starter.
Hunter Gaddis is throwing up numbers that you would expect from a guy that has like 3 outings.
Yeah.
They put his numbers up. I think it was during the Philly series. That's the last thing I want to talk about before we get you out of here. But Hunter Gaddis specifically, they put his numbers up on the screen, and I looked at like his ERA and run and all that stuff, and I was like, that looks like a guy that's pitched 3 games and had a good 3 outings. And yet he's pitched like 55 games. Like he's been a workhorse.
And he had some struggles going into the big. Like he started hot, and then like he had a couple weeks where he was like, okay,
that
maybe
Braves
the real
series was not friendly to him.
Yeah, but he's come back and he's been fantastic. So you feel so good about the bullpen. Like the issues with this team for sure go. They go from least issue to biggest issue. They go bullpen, offense, starting pitching for sure.
He cut his hair. I think that's what it was. He cut his hair.
There you go.
Yeah.
Real quick before we let you out of here, let's talk about. I mean, it was great to see them win the last 2 games against Detroit. It gave them the series, the season series, which I was stunned to hear that because I thought Detroit beat us way more than we beat them. But let's talk about that series this weekend and how big that was. The 2 teams with the best records in baseball clashed in Philadelphia, and the Cleveland Guardians went in there and they got 2 wins. Chad saw one in person on Friday night in Philly. He saw that win Friday night. The Phillies crushed the Guardians on Saturday, and then what a gutsy win by the Guardians on Sunday. Big ups to that bullpen. Clase closing the door. Just what did we learn about the Cleveland Guardians as they stepped in against the team with the best record in baseball and took the series from them?
They can play with anyone. There's no doubt. Their bullpen is good enough. Their experience is enough. They can play with any team in Major League Baseball. I don't have any doubt about that. The gutsy performances by not only the bullpen, but the hitters and the starters in most of those games. I mean, like they can play with anyone. And that was a huge, huge kind of litmus test. I think people were saying like, oh, the front office wanted to see what that series was like. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think the whole team wanted to see, okay, the Phillies have been the best team in baseball through the entire season. They really haven't been touched. And the Guardians go in and get 2 gutsy wins. It wasn't like blowout wins. It wasn't like, some lucky kind of happenstance wins. No, they played really good baseball. They got the job done, played some good defense. In the first game specifically, they played Guardians, brand of baseball, small ball. And then in the third game, John Canzino, a huge home run. They're down 3-0. You're thinking, okay, this is another – the Guardians don't play well from behind. They're not the team to come back from a 3-0 deficit, and boom, right there you get that kind of mojo, and then Stephen Kwan comes in, hits another home run. So whether it was Chad or Mike or Joe, I mean, I don't know who said it, but you're right. The home run ball is a huge difference maker.
Yeah.
And that's why it was so bad last year that they were like bottom of the league. I'm not saying that you need to build your team on home runs because I think that creates issues with the strikeouts and all that. But being able to hit the ball a long way helps you, and it will help you go a long way. So huge effort. They did everything in that series to show you that they have little things here and there that they can get the job done to beat any team in baseball.
All right, one last question, Hayden. We're going to let you go because it's going to be a fun question because we're going to do this a little later. We're about to draft the ultimate starting lineup using only characters from baseball movies. Who would be your 1-1? Who would be your 1-1? Who would you draft first?
Pablo Sanchez. It's not from a movie, though.
Oh,
that's not
baseball.
from a movie. From a movie?
Or TV shows. We should expand it to TV shows.
Pablo, man.
Pablo Sanchez is computer game.
this big. He's this big, but he hits the ball a mile.
I think that counts.
I think I'm going Benny the Jet.
Okay. All right.
I think.
What position you put him at, though?
Center field. I'm putting him center field. Put him center field. Giving him an opportunity to roam around out there.
All right, man. Hey, this was a blast. Hayden Grove.
Perfect timing. Def Leppard's coming on right now.
Go get some sugar poured on you out there. Try to avoid that, actually. It's going to get a little gross. But go have a good time. Enjoy the rest of the concert. Thank you for taking a few minutes to come hang out with us. Go follow Hayden online. And Hayden, we'll have you back on to talk Browns in the near future. You good with that?
Sounds great, guys. Thank you so much. Take care.
All right, buddy.
See you, Hayden.
Hayden Grove, Cleveland.com. What a good dude. That was fun. It felt like fast-paced, but some good points there by Hayden. And I get it. What I liked about that conversation we had with Hayden Grove about the Guardians specifically, boys, I feel pretty good. I personally feel pretty good about what the Guardians did, but I also feel like my expectations weren't that high because it was reported that like some of the big name people that you might have wanted to be available weren't going to be available. Like it was going to be hard to go out and get big name franchise altering players. And actually I think the Guardians would have done that had the possibility been there, but there wasn't any of those kind of guys out there, right? Jazz Chisholm, I know everybody in New York's going to love him after tonight, but Jazz Chisholm, he's a 230, 240 hitter.
Yeah.
He has like 2 good games a week, and then he kind of stinks in other games.
Yeah.
He brought up Eloy Jimenez, and I don't even want to dive into that, but Eloy Jimenez stinks at this point in his career. Like there were some good players that got moved, but there was nobody where I was like, oh shit. See, really, I think the Dodgers got, I mean, to get Flaherty from the Tigers, as if the Dodgers needed more help. I know their record isn't great, but once they get to the playoffs, that's probably the best. I don't know. I like what the Guardians did, but I do see. I think he was good to have on because that's different viewpoints on the situation, and I think he represents the way a lot of people feel.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, I had no expectations as far as like players I wanted them to get right going into this deadline, but I knew that if they just stood pat, I would have been pissed. Like I would have been extremely irritated if they just did nothing. But they did. They gave a little boost to the lineup, and they took a chance on a guy who historically has been a pretty good pitcher. He's just coming back from injury. So, yeah, I mean, these were 2 typical guards moves. They just were. I mean, we know they're not going to go out and get the big names, although they do, yeah, like Hayden said, they do have the ammo to do it, but it's just not in the Guards' nature to do that. So these are 2 typical Guardians moves at the deadline that could fall on their face, or it could pay off. I don't think it's going to be anywhere in the middle here. It's just how this team operates.
I'm a little disappointed.
Are you?
I think I'm a little disappointed. I love the potential that Alex Cobb brings, but like, I mean, I think they said he's like 1 rehab start away from potentially joining the major league club, but like, he's starting from scratch this season. This guy has to go through essentially his own spring training. Hopefully that doesn't like deter any progress that the team's making to, keep their lead up against the Twins. But like the Jack Flaherty asking price wasn't a ton.
Right.
But
Joe, just not to interrupt, but the Tigers came out and said they weren't going to trade. The White Sox said the same thing. They came out and said they are not interested in trading within the division. So, there's
everyone has a price. Everyone has a price, and the Dodgers kind of got to steal.
Well, but you said the asking price. You said you said the asking price wasn't that much, but if it was higher because you wanted to get him from a division, there's just different factors that go in.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I think we said it earlier. Just you hope you catch lightning in the bottle with either Cobb or Boyd, and hopefully when I do like the Lane Thomas pickup. I think that's a great fitting piece for the team. It's an instant upgrade at right field. It's a solid bat. He was batting the 2-hole today, which is great to see.
Yes.
He's like a faster Brandon Geyer.
Yeah. Faster Brandon Geyer. I mean, he adds like some true speed that we need on the base pads. So that one, to me, I'm actually really excited about that.
Well, let's take
pitching.
it real quick. Let's take it piece by piece, Joe, because that's a great
Yeah.
place to start us with that. Let's just go like not position by position, but group by group, right? Look at where the Guardians outfield is at all of a sudden. So we've gone from Ramon Laureano and Estevan Florial out there
Oh my
to
God.
Stephen Kwan, and you have Angel Martinez, who's playing mostly outfield at this point. You've got John Kenzie Noel, who is my only concern bringing an outfielder in is I want John Kenzie in the lineup as much as possible. Like I want him in that lineup all the time.
Well, you got the space for it.
Well,
And it's an unpopular decision, but like, stop carrying 3 catchers.
He can be if he develops to his full potential. I think he can be that 290, like 30 home run guy on a yearly basis. He's got the pop to do it.
It's not that, Joe. It's not the room on the roster. They've already got him on the roster. It's because they sent out.
But it's a room in the lineup. It's a room in the lineup. You need David Fry in your lineup.
Well,
you want John Kenzie Noel in your lineup. You want Josh Naylor in your lineup.
But who are you playing in center field? That's my question. My question is Stephen Kwan's playing left field.
Yeah.
So now you've brought in Lane Thomas. Can Lane Thomas play center field?
Yes.
He has been.
He can play all 3 positions.
If Lane Thomas can be your main center fielder and you can have John Kenzie Noel as your starting right fielder, that's phenomenal. Now, Lane Thomas started today in right field.
Sure.
So that's my concern with it's not offensively where we're going to put him. It's are they going to figure out a way to play those 3 guys together defensively? And if they can, and then you can have guys like Freeman and you can have guys like Martinez as your 4th and 5th outfielders. I'm really excited about the outfield all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's a good point of getting Lane Thomas over to center. I mean, that would be the right move to get John Kenzie in the lineup. You can play around DH. You got Tyler Freeman. That'd be a great sub-in pinch hit guy, take over in the outfield. Yeah.
Dude, Chad.
Like
when
that.
John Kenzie Noel hit
Quadzilla? You mean Quadzilla?
When Christmas Quadzilla hit that 6,000-foot home run on Friday night, and you were at the game to tie the game up.
Yeah.
Did you poop your pants?
Yeah, poop my pants. And you know what? Honestly, I expected that was
Sunday. That was Sunday, wasn't it? I'm sorry.
I was 1,000% the loudest fan in the section I was sitting in, and I was totally expecting getting shit from Philly fans. Nope, no one said anything to me.
I mean, if they came back, maybe you would have gotten some, but I feel like being up the whole time, usually like the home fans are like, oh, the real teams are like chill and
like when Martinez beat that pickle, I was this was me, and I'm not even kidding. I went, he's there, and like that, I was the only one you could hear in the stadium, and nobody said a word to me. So I was like, oh, Philly fans, you're kind of pussies.
Well, you're gonna die. You can't go anymore.
No, just kidding. No,
you.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Sean was there, and he meant loud because the way he first put it. Whoa.
Hey,
but
in my defense,
we're loud as hell.
In my defense, and Sean can attest to this. I turned to him and Jeremiah. Yes, I was loaded, Serge. In my defense, I turned to Sean and Jeremiah, my 2 buddies, and I said, I'm probably going to be annoying tonight. Just so you know, just a little heads up. I'm probably going to be annoying. And they accepted it.
So I feel real good about the outfield. You come into the infield, and there's still question marks, man, especially defensively, right? Nothing offensively, really. I mean, your shortstop is kind of an offensive hole, but every team has an offensive hole somewhere. That's the issue, right? If your shortstop was an offensive hole but is a defensive wizard, then we're good. But otherwise, you got Jose at third. Great. You've got Jimenez at second, who has not been nearly as good defensively this year, but he is a multi-time Gold Glove winner. Like he'll come around. You got Naylor over there. You got Fry over there at first base. And you got to figure out, again, for me, can we talk more about Thomas in center field, and can we talk about getting more looks on the infield for Schneemann. Schneemann's not great defensively. He's not great, but he's got a bat. I'll take the bat.
Yeah.
I know Rocchio hit a bomb, by the way, today, but Rocchio only hits bombs in times of the game where it doesn't matter.
Rocchio, I'm over him. He's a liability on defense. He is subpar on offense. He doesn't deserve a spot in this lineup right now.
But give like now, if we want to work around this outfield a little bit, let's start working around the infield, right? Did you see where Tyler Freeman started the game today? Third base. Why? Because Tyler Freeman's an infielder.
Yeah.
Yep.
He never played outfield before this year. Okay, give Tyler Freeman a look. Give Schneemann a look. Martinez can play any position on the field. Let's start rotating those guys in. Maybe Rocchio can just be your super utility, random off the bench guy if you need him. But again,
that good though.
The infield is pretty damn good. You got to figure out shortstop, but otherwise, it's a pretty darn good infield.
Yeah.
Like again. You talk about the outfield, I think is much better with the addition of Thomas. The infield is still good, and maybe it has a little bit more versatility now, maybe. And the bullpen is the best in baseball. So just figure out 4-star. You need 4 starters. That's all you need. Even if you get through the rest of the season with Carlos Carrasco being terrible every 5th day. You need 4 starters getting into the playoffs. And if you can get 4 starters in the playoffs, if you can turn Bybee and Williams and Alex Cobb comes back looking like his normal self and one other guy.
And Ben Lively. Ben Lively's been having a good year.
If Lively's your 4th guy, or if, whoever. But that's right now, it feels like this conversation we keep having about the Cleveland Browns, doesn't it, boys? Where it's like, oh, they've got this and they've got this and this looks good and that looks good and everything looks good. And it just depends on Deshaun Watson. Well, for the Guardians, Deshaun Watson is the starting pitcher.
On like a sad note, have we seen the last of Cookie if Alex Cobb comes back next week?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And
sad.
and
But
I'll
like,
always cheer for him forever.
For the good of the team, it's good, but like,
Yeah.
Except your assignment to Columbus, bud. I mean, you're good.
Or just retire. It's okay.
Yeah, one of the two. One of the
you had
two.
a great career, and we love you in Cleveland, and we don't want you to go out on a terrible down note. Just head up high. You were part of a first-place team. We love you. Go do your thing. Your battle that you won off the field is better than any battle that you'll ever win on the field, and we all love you for it, Carlos. So,
yeah.
Bandito's got a good comment.
Bandito does, yeah. So this is an option that I was thinking about, and I meant to bring it up, but then I got real excited because I talk stupid. But Jimenez to short, Schneemann to second. I love that.
Jimenez was supposed to be our Lindor replacement.
Schneemann.
To second. How about our new boy? How about our number 1 overall pick? That could be our starting lineup next year. Yeah. Jimenez at short, and the Aussie at second.
Would they do it this year?
No.
Why not?
Anyways, Guardians they're one of the best teams in baseball, and they're made up and constructed in such a way that you want to know what's the worst part about this season, boys? In my opinion, the worst part about this season is that you're waiting for it to, and this is why, like, when they didn't play so great, kind of the whole month of July, they were like, They weren't great. They were Even though they maintained being one of the best teams in baseball, they were still kind of You feel like it's going to fall apart at some point. And to their credit, it hasn't. And they've gone through slumps and they've come out of slumps. And that's what's happened now. The way they're playing this last week, unbelievable. So I love it. I love where they're at, and I'm so excited. We're now at Chad, you've said it forever. We're now at the fun part of baseball.
Yeah.
It's August. It's time to make that last push.
Yep.
I think the Guardians' magic number is down to like 50. So we're down to that point.
Perfect.
Let's go. All right, boys, you know what we haven't done yet?
Let's go win the division.
It's getting warm.
We haven't done Garage Beers of the Week. We should probably do Garage Beers of the Week. We're going to do Garage Beers of the Week. Then we're going to do a little quick hitter on the Browns. We're going to do Asshole of the Week. We're going to do a little quick hitter on the Olympics. And then we're going to do our draft. So let's do our Garage Beers of the Week. Let's do an abridged version. Just real quick. What are you drinking? And do you like it? Joe.
Pacifico.
Hey. Pacifico is a classic. All right, Chad, what do you
Corona,
drink?
the gas stations.
Ole.
So good. Ole.
Big Oyster Brewery, Noir et Bleu.
Whoa.
It's a
Is
Belgian triple.
is that for the Olympics?
Oh.
Yeah, sure. Oh God, yeah. Wait till we get to our asshole of the week. Yeah, Noir et
Mine
Bleu.
too.
It's a Belgian triple. It's 9% and it's delicious.
Sweet. I love the fact that I can buy this here. There's this little brewery down in Miami called Tripping Animals. I've had it on the show several times. Like like a little warehouse down in Miami, but they distribute up here. So I've got Tripping Animals. It's a Wolverine dressed up as Wolverine, but his eyeballs are red because he is high because their name is Tripping Animals. This is called You're Dead, Bub. And this is a double dry hopped IPA. It is spectacular.
Wow.
A spectacular beer. I do want to do one quick thing on Garage Beers of the Week. Chad, Pliny the Elder?
Yes.
Well, I'm just saying. I just want to hear. I want to hear. You texted me about it. There's a bar.
Yeah.
Confused. There's a bar in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
It's the only place outside of California that you can buy Pliny the Elder, which is from Russian River Brewing.
Right.
Because the guy that owns it is from Philly, and he wanted to sell it back in his hometown. And Pliny the Elder is one of the best beers I've ever had in my whole life. And Chad drank one, even though it's a West Coast IPA, and Chad hates West Coast IPAs.
Yes.
So just hear what your thoughts were.
Listen. First off, I was about 6-7 beers in when I drank it, so the jury's still out. Okay?
You weren't beers deep. You were Deers Beep.
Deers beep. Yeah, no. No, but I mean, I even told Sean and Jeremiah, I said, this is stupid, but there's something about getting a beer that you can only get in 2 places in the country, right? So we went to Monk's, we had it, and I honestly, it wasn't terrible. It didn't have that strong, piney taste that most West Coast IPAs do have. And yeah, it was good. I don't know what percentage of alcohol it is, but it was strong. It was strong because I was feeling it after that. That's for sure. But yeah, it was good. And I even looked up because I wanted to try to find a bottle of it. It just didn't work out to where I could go buy it. But yeah, there was a few places I could have went and got a bottle of it. I just didn't work out because I wanted to see if I actually liked it. But when I had it, it wasn't bad, boys. It was not bad. Maybe I'm coming around on this terrible beer shit.
Let's go.
We'll
It's
see.
a 5-star review. It wasn't bad.
We'll see. We'll see.
Drink drunk again.
Monk's Cafe was under construction, so I didn't get the full feel of it. Right? There was a bunch of scaffolding in front of it. I sent you the picture, Mike. You saw it.
Yeah, that's cool. As long as you were inside drinking the beer, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Monk's, Mike?
Yeah, many times.
Okay. Oh, whoa. Excuse me. Jesus, world
That's why I
traveler.
told you to go there.
regular.
Yeah, I'm going to SummerSlam, then Hosier, a big fucking oh wow.
Where do you think it came? Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Okay. Real quick, boys. Let's spend just a few minutes talking about the Cleveland Browns because we're in the swing of it now, man. They're almost done. They've only got a couple days left out in the Greenbrier. And then it's back to Cleveland. It's back to Berea. It's a few dates that people can go see them at training camp. And then, boys, not this upcoming Saturday, but next Saturday is the first Browns preseason game. And that means we are just over a month away from the Browns regular season. So listen, again, I think still with the Cleveland Browns this offseason, there's just not a lot to talk about. There's just not even the news coming out of the Greenbrier is just like, well, Myles Garrett just he got light work in today. And you're like, yeah, well, of course he did. It was the reporting on Joe Thomas for the entire back half of his career during training camp was like, yeah, Joe stood there and watched practice. And then he came out and was the best player on the field for the Browns. And so they've got a little bit of that. The couple things that have stood out to me, they've tweaked. I've seen multiple people talk about this. There's been tweaks to Deshaun Watson's throwing motion, specifically his footwork. And it's noticeable, even from the reporter's perspective, just watching training camp. And I have to tell you, that gets me excited because I think a lot of the easy throws that we saw Deshaun Watson missing during his very sporadic fucking time with the Browns so far, I think a lot of that was footwork and a lot of that was drive. And it really seems to be a focus in camp is that his footwork has become vastly different, and there's a different torque in his body as he's throwing the ball. Those are the kind of things, as not exciting as it is to talk about that as opposed to like, we need a defensive tackle, which we don't. That I'm a little excited by that, boys. Like, are we improving this dude? Are we actually, it's not just a mental thing, but are we physically working on improving this guy? And if that's the case, then I'm a little more excited than I was 2 days ago before that report came out.
Yeah, I felt like in Deshaun's last couple games before his injury last year, like, it wasn't like egregiously missing those like
No,
kind of easy passes, but definitely the beginning part of the season, the year before, the 6 games the year before, like that was a big problem. And you know, I think maybe the first season when he only played the 6 games, that was more chalked, or say 8 games, that was chalked up to just kind of shaking the rust off, and then we kind of saw at the beginning of last season as well. But it definitely checks out that would be some type of form issue and technical issue that, you know, he's got all the arm strength in the world. It's not a concern for this guy. He really has a lot of accuracy too when he's in the correct form. And so it's exciting that, you know, I think they found something to fix with that, and he's adapting with it. That's great news.
Just don't get hurt.
Bingo.
That's it. I mean,
all right, let me ask one more question. One more question about the Browns, and then we'll do asshole of the week. Because again, we could talk about Nick Chubb, but he's running and cutting. We don't know what's going to happen with him. We know what I love about Nick Chubb is that everybody not named Nick Chubb says that Nick Chubb's ahead of schedule by like a mile. Nick Chubb's like, I don't know if I'm ahead of schedule, but I think that's a good thing. I think that's just Nick Chubb being his like humble self.
Also,
everybody that is watching Nick Chubb is like, holy shit.
Take your time, buddy.
Take
your time.
I agree. I agree.
Rushing back for it. Don't go back for week 1. I don't want you there.
I agree. Here's the question I'm going to ask, and then we'll go. Because really, not a lot to talk about on the defensive end. They're going to be great. I love Mike Vrabel working with the team. Offensively, they're going to be great in so many areas. Here's what I want to know, boys. Let's assume everybody's healthy. Let's assume we got a healthy offensive line. There's a very healthy, very happy offensive line. Here's what I want to know, boys. Who are your 5 starters?
I mean, obviously, Posick, Teller, Bitonio.
Those are the easy ones.
God. I mean, you have to start Conklin as long as he's healthy, right? And I think there's probably competition between Wills and Dewan at left tackle. I do. I know that's weird. I mean, it's not weird to say because, I mean, look at the last couple of years that Wills has had. It's not been pretty. And with the way Dewan performed before he got injured, it's an argument. Do I think Dewan is going to be in that spot? Like, is a lock? No, but with the way he played in that spot last year, hopefully maybe that motivates Wills, because Wills is playing for a second contract. This could very well be his last year. Maybe not on the Browns, but I mean, in the NFL, if he does not, because the tape out on him is not pretty. So if he does not have a good year, then yeah. So I think there's really competition at that left tackle spot, in my opinion.
I was going to say Jones over Wills.
Okay, all right.
The Browns. This is it's truly, in my opinion, right now, outside of like contract situations, I think it's the Browns situation where they're in the shittiest spot. Here's why. You're going to sit there and say, oh, for sure, you play DeJuan Jones, like for sure. And according to their situation, you have to look at what Serge just said. You put your best players on the field. Okay. But
what if none
also
of
have to be realistic about it. You have to be realistic about this. Jack Conklin does not have a lot of years left with the Cleveland Browns.
Nope, sure doesn't.
And so Jack Conklin, when healthy, might be the best of the 3, but he doesn't have a lot of years left. So let's say we're just going to play Jack Conklin, which they should, because I think he is the best of the 3 right now. You have to decide whether you're going into, let's talk about next year. And I know people are going to hate that. You got to make that decision. You got to decide whether you're going into next year with Jed Wills as your left tackle and DeJuan Jones as your right tackle. So Jack Conklin.
No.
Jack, yes, you do. Yes, you got to decide if Jed Wills is your left tackle.
He's not.
You have to.
The decision made. No.
No, it's decisions not made.
Decisions made.
Absolute decisions made in your head.
Done.
Decisions made in your head. The reality of Jed Wills is that he's very much a middle of the road tackle in the NFL. That's the reality. Now, everybody thinks he should be more than that based on the fact that he was a top draft pick and whatever. But the reality, based on watching the games and understanding the game, is that Jed Wills is a middle of the road guy. There's a lot of worse players than Jed Wills, and there's a lot of better players than Jed Wills. So you got to decide if he's worth that second contract. Are you going to give him another contract? Because I think we all like DeJuan Jones, but you're not going to learn anything about Jed Wills if you don't play him. And that is a really tricky spot to be in. It's a really tricky spot to be in. And DeJuan Jones, as good as he was at right tackle last year, again, everybody acts like you can just go right to left to right to left to right to left, and it's easy. It's not. So now you're going to put him back at left. You're going to put him at left tackle and act like that's going to work out. It's a really tough situation for the Browns. It's a really tough situation for them.
Yeah, super tough.
God, yeah, just dead air.
Like Joey looked like he was about to talk, and so I was like kind of waiting and like, hold on, are we there? Yeah. I mean, it's a tough spot. It is a tough spot because, kind of like the draft, you really have to start thinking about the future of this offensive line. Conklin is on his way out. So, I mean, do you start DeJuan Jones or do you start the veteran? Because, I mean, when Conklin is healthy and he's in there, obviously he's an all-pro. I mean, he's been there. But how much can you rely on him or to stay healthy? Or do you just go? Or do you just go with the young guy? I don't know. Yeah. They don't call us the best color man in baseball for nothing, Serge. Isn't that right?
Dynamite dropping money. That broadcasting school really paid off.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was so
Ball
good.
snapped, blocked.
Yeah. She passes it to man, and boom goes the dynamite. No, it's the funny thing is, it's not just Wills that throws a wrench into it. Conklin's your best tackle. Him being your best tackle throws a wrench into it because he's also your most unreliable player. I mean, he might be the most unreliable player on the field, but he's your best tackle. So you got to play him. And then you got to decide. We love DeJuan Jones, but we also are on that fifth year option with Jed Wills. It's going to be really interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see what they choose to do at that offensive line. You know what that interior is going to look like. You know it's Petonio, and you know it's Postage, and you know it's Teller. But those outside spots are going to be really interesting to see what they do. And it'll be really interesting to see what the leash length is on those guys. Whoever they pick, if they say we need to see Jed Wills out there at left tackle, it'll be really interesting to see what that length is on that leash moving into the season. So to me, that's the storyline. There's no more. Yeah, Nick Chubb and yeah, Deshaun Watson, and we know the wide receivers and we know the defense. But the storyline is, how are they going to work those three guys? It'll be interesting. So,
Yep.
All right, Cleveland Browns at the Greenbrier for a few more days, then back for training camp. And again, we're just over a month until the season starts, which is really exciting. Boys, let's real quick, Chad, I think you and I are going to have very similar situations here. Let's real quick go to our asshole of the week before we hit another quick hitter and then our final thing of the night. And let's talk about our assholes of the week. Somebody just deserves to be called out for being an asshole. Chad, go ahead, buddy. Chad, you're muted.
Oh.
Yep, your microphone's not working, Chad.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, it's still quiet.
Yeah, I can have a different one if you want to.
Pretty quiet.
Yeah, you're real quiet. I can hardly hear you, Chad. What'd you do?
Hey, did you bump something?
The hell did you do?
Not better.
Yeah, now it's nothing. Now we don't hear anything.
Flick the switch on it.
You son of a bitch.
How's that?
Hey,
Yeah.
he's back.
Son of a bitch. I said, I have a different one if you want to go real quick. Hold on, I'm finishing something up.
Hold on. Well, no, because Surge's is so good and it has to do with mine. Asshole of the week, people that boycott things and tell me about it when I didn't ask them. That is so good. So go ahead, Chad. Go ahead with yours.
My asshole of the week is the people who sat in front of us in Philly. So there was this guy, like we were
Yours was
asking,
gonna be about the Olympics.
huh?
You said yours was about the Olympics.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was, but then you had the same thing, and then Serge said that thing, so I figured I'd switch it up a little bit.
All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
the people in front of us at Philly, because there was this one nerdy dude in front of us that was like giving us suggestions on where to go, and I swear to God, like at 4 different times during the game, and this wasn't like consecutively. He goes, "Now, if you guys go to Blue Martini, blue as in blue cheese, BLEU, you'll find that they have 8-ounce martinis. It's not bad. I mean, it's good. It's good price, but you know, but if you want a good martini, that's where you got to go. Yeah, that's where you got to go. Okay. And then like 2 innings went by, and I said, "Hey, where's a good spot to go hang out at after the game? Like, should we go to that sports bar across the street while traffic clears out?" He goes, "If you go up to Old City, if you remember, I said blue martini, blue as in," and he said it the same thing every time.
Oh no!
And by the 3rd or 4th time, Sean and I looked at each other and went, "Do we look like 2 fucking guys that drink martinis?" Like,
well, first of all, there's nothing wrong with the martini.
There's nothing wrong with martini, but we didn't need to get blue.
First baseball game, you're not grabbing a martini.
Yeah, right.
We didn't need blue as in blue cheese. Explain to me 4 different times. So blue as in bleu, BLEU, martini. No, we did not need that explained to us. So just what an asshole for thinking that we're martini drinkers.
All right, fair. I'll go to mine, Joe, because my asshole of the week is very much having to do with Serge and his comment, and I tweeted about it like literally an hour and a half ago. My asshole of the week is, God, this could be my asshole of the week a lot too, because I really despise this fucking place. But Town Hall Restaurant here in Cleveland, and the people that own it, and then there's like 3 other restaurants here. What a bunch of douchebags! Town Hall.
What did they do this time?
Well, they built a reputation on being shitheads, and they're shit to their employees, and they're shitty to people, and they are just overall assholes all the time. And then they posted, these people are so stupid. They posted something that said, "We are boycotting the Olympics. So if you want to watch the Olympics, don't come to Town Hall because we're boycotting."
Why?
You're stupid. Why? What do you mean why? Here's why. Because people watched the opening ceremonies and they saw a bunch of drag queens and they thought, and they got to boycott it now. They saw what they're going to tell you. I don't want to get into this whole thing. What they're going to tell you is that they saw a bunch of drag queens and it looked like they were in like the Last Supper formation, even though that's not what it was at all. And the people that said it explained that, but they're like, "Oh my God, drag queens, and they're messing with my religion," which is not what happened again. And they said it, but it's just this people who have never been persecuted for anything in their lives want to be persecuted for something so that they can say that they've been persecuted. And that is asshole behavior. I don't want to make this a whole big thing, but Town Hall, especially, Town Hall has been called out for treating their female employees like dirt and telling gay employees to get out of here and treating minorities like dirt. But they made a statement saying, "We're going to boycott the Olympics because we stand with all people." No, you don't, you stupid bitch. Oh, the place sucks. Whatever you feel, you like it, you don't like it, whatever. But Town Hall, I'm not talking to any of the general population. I'm just strictly talking to Town Hall. You suck. Your food sucks. Your atmosphere sucks. And Jesus Christ, your owner is a piece of shit. You suck. And so you're the asshole of the week. I got that.
I didn't realize that the Last Supper was drag queens walking across a bridge. Our bad.
I didn't realize the Last Supper had a big blue figure eating grapes in front of it like an actual painting did.
Yeah.
No. Fucking whatever. Let's be outraged.
The Headless Marie Antoinette into that metal band like intro. I've watched that clip like 10,000 times.
Well, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Gojira, right? I don't know how to say. I don't know if I'm.
That's
saying
right, Gojira. Right? Yeah, Gojira. You're right.
Holy shit! That was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Yeah. That was the coolest thing I have ever seen.
What a cool! It was, yeah, it's the coolest sequence, and then the camera pan out to the whole side of the.
Make me feel better. It made that building look like it was exploding. And the coolest thing about that building is that was the prison that Marie Antoinette was out in before they beheaded her. It was the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen. And then I will get a preemptive while we're doing the Olympics for a minute. A preemptive cheers. The Celine Dion thing at the end was I still get goosebumps. I still have goosebumps.
How incredible that she can do that.
Thinking about her standing on the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
And knowing her story a little bit. Unbelievable.
Her disease is crazy.
Oh, it's wild.
Crazy.
It's wild. Anyways.
Like the fact that she even performs crazy. Anyways.
We're going to talk about the Olympics a little bit more.
It's the Olympics. We'll segue into it. How do you not have a backup plan for the triathlon? You knew that the sun was shit. It was full of E. coli. You've known this for months. Is it just like a political hill to die on because you're too stubborn to admit that you guys could not clean it up in time? But like zero backup
most likely
for it?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Well, yeah, and they spent weeks talking about it. The mayor of Paris and I think the president of France, Macron, was like, we're gonna go swimming just to prove to you that it's safe. Fucking don't do that. It's not safe.
We have tests. We have tests. E. coli tests. Bacteria tests.
You're surfing in Tahiti. You can send the triathletes somewhere else. Right? Yeah. Like, I actually thought that was one of the coolest things about the Olympics is there's not real good surfing in France. So they're doing the surfing in Tahiti.
So cool.
Where it's like the best surfing in the world. Unbelievable. Yeah. Go do the triathlon somewhere else. Who gives a shit? Yeah, it's a good one.
That blows my mind. Come on now.
It's a good one, Joe. All right, so boys, real quick, I want to go for like really only just like 5 minutes because I want to do this last game, and I know Joe's got to get out of here. We got to cut this at 10:30. The Olympic, I don't remember who I said it to. It might have even been you, Joe. I don't know, man. We talked a lot this weekend. The Olympics are legit one of my favorite events.
Yeah.
I love this, man. Yeah. I'm sitting here. I don't give, you brought up polo before. I don't give two fucks about polo or water polo. I don't give a shit about water polo. I never watch water polo. I don't know anybody that's on the water polo team. But damn it, when the USA was playing water polo against Greece, I was ready to slap a Greek bitch. I was ready. That doesn't mean woman. That just meant a person.
Wow.
A person.
Okay. Wow. To all the Greek ladies out there, we love you. We love you, all the Greek
ladies. No, I like Greek ladies. I like baklava. No, I meant a person. I was Giannis Antetokounmpo could have been standing in front of me. I was ready to fight him.
No, seriously, Santorini's beautiful.
And USA was playing Greece, and I'm ready to roll. I love the way the Olympics make me feel. I get so into it. This is such a great time every couple of years.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I'll watch anything. I'll watch anything in the Olympics. I mean, it's from shooting to handball to that kayak cross to whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Just give me anything. Give me anything. No, it's a fun athletic event to watch for sure. Because it's just so unique and so different. You don't watch these things anywhere other than like ESPN The Ocho.
Have we seen breakdancing yet? Because I'm real excited to watch that.
No, but I have seen Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo. And that's probably like the same thing.
How about Serge says, me too, Mike. I have become an expert in several abstract sports over the last few days. Oh, that gymnast had a foot over the line. That'll be 3/10 off.
You know what a tough sport to watch is and to understand? Judo.
Oh, yeah.
Judo is very difficult to understand. Like, there's like takedowns that don't count, but then if you take someone down a certain way, it's the end of the match.
Yeah.
And then I know you can like pin them for 10 seconds in a specific hold, and that gets them out. You can tap out, but like there's a lot of interesting nuances.
Right.
And if like it kind of just looks like a slap fight to the naked eye, but then also you like look at replays, you're like, oh my gosh, they're doing like 12 things with their arms and legs to like strangle people.
Yeah.
Dude, so long story short, I did something yesterday that it made me very happy. Right on the other side of this wall right here is just a blank wall in like my living room basement area. There's nothing on the wall. My son is real into like, he loves video games and his shows, and he's 7 and he needs his own spot. So I went to Target yesterday and I bought a bunch of shit. And I put a desk together out here, and I bought the new Xbox so I could play college football. So I still have the old Xbox. I repurposed it to be like a kid's thing. I brought the Nintendo Switch down here, and I set this whole thing up. So there's a whole desk, and I put a TV up. I hung a TV on the wall, and it's like a gamer station for him. And I love it. I'm super excited about it. But as I'm setting it up, I realized like I still had a little work to do for my actual job. And I set up like Hulu. So I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, well, shit, it's the middle of the day. The Olympics are going on. I'm watching. I turned the Olympics on. It was table tennis, as I said to you guys before. It was a girl from America versus a girl from Puerto Rico.
Oh, yeah.
Also kind of America, so you could root for both.
Sweet.
The girl from America.
Same thought, too.
The girl from America goes up 2-0, and I think you had to get to it's best of 7.
Best of 7.
It's best of 7. She goes up 2-0, and this girl just mentally checks. She has like 3 bad shots, and she just mentally checks out. Like you could see it on her face. Gone. I'm sitting here yelling at the TV like, get your head together and get back in the game.
Oh, God.
Oh, I was into it. I wanted her to win, and she lost. She went up 2-0, and then she lost to the
that Puerto Rican girl locked in.
Yeah. But were you watching it, Joe?
Yeah.
The American girl?
Yeah.
Her head just went out. She's out.
Yeah, it was really weird. It like at times it didn't look like she wanted to be there, which is not the case. But like,
real quick, boys, we talked about rugby a little bit before. Did you guys see the finish?
Yeah, sure did. Sure did. What an upset. What an upset.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Rugby 7 women's.
Right.
So 7's less people on the field. And it's USA versus Australia in the bronze medal match. And Australia should just boat race the USA at that point. And they are winning. Australia's winning. And this woman from the US gets the ball, trucks 2 Australians, and just beats everybody down the field, scores, does the little drop kick for, I don't know, the extra point, or I don't know what you call it in rugby. I don't know anything about rugby. And US wins the bronze medal over Australia. It was like it was the last play of the game. It was the last thing that happened in the game. Unbelievable.
Yeah, ever since Australia came out with that like interview where they're like complaining about the US swimming team and like their like match rituals. I hate Australia this year.
Yeah, they're like villainous a little bit.
Yeah. So anytime we beat them, I'm very happy. Especially at rugby too. Like that's like Australia beating us at basketball. Like it shouldn't happen.
You piece of shit. Klinger 5-hole in the comments says, I learned if you tear your pants in judo, you have to change right now. Which is probably a good rule. That's probably a good rule.
It's a good rule. I think it's a good rule.
Serge says, hold on. If you haven't been checking out the Snoop Dogg highlights, you've got to watch them. I believe that. And then Sean is trying to teach us about rugby. A try is touching the ball over the line. A conversion is a drop kick. Yeah, okay. It's a touchdown and an extra point. We all know it. All right, Chad, we need to get back in here, buddy, because I want to get to our last thing. The Olympics are great. We've still got a little less than 2 weeks left of the Olympics, but USA's had some cool moments. Again, some weird moments where they've celebrated. It's been weird to celebrate bronze medals. But
I feel like U.S. men's gymnastics should celebrate the bronze.
Yeah, they've never done that.
Yeah.
Or no, they haven't never done it, but it's been a long time since they've medaled. Yeah. That rugby 7s for the women's, they've never medaled in that.
That's celebratory bronze.
And then there's certain areas where the U.S. is just right. Women's gymnastics it's UConn women's basketball of the Olympics. Yeah. Nobody touches the U.S. women's gymnastics. They won the all-around gold again today. How about the swimming, man? The U.S. has been dominating in swimming. It's been a blast. And the U.S. basketball team, men's and women's.
They play again tomorrow, right? Men's plays tomorrow.
Yes, I will be watching it.
Yeah. Women beat Japan.
God, I wish I had the time you guys had.
I'm
awesome.
working. I'm currently working from home, but I do want to give real quick special shout out to Kevin Durant arguing with a fan on Twitter because the fan's like, "This
was his burner or was it his actual?"
No, it was his real account. The fan was, "This is the kind of basketball they should play in the NBA, and this is what we want them to see," and blah blah blah. And they were like, the fan was like alluding to the fact that like Team USA doesn't play the FIBA basketball rules kind of basketball, and like they can't keep up with this kind of basketball, whatever. And in the meantime, like the USA won that game by like 30. Like it wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Like, shut the hell up. Anyways, all right, Chad came up with a great idea. The Olympics are great. We're going to talk more about it next week too. The Olympics are awesome, but Chad came up with a great idea. We want to finish the show with this in our cheers of the week. And so Chad wanted to know if we could put together the best starting lineup for a baseball team. So we're going to do a starting lineup, and we're going to do three pitchers. Based purely off of movie characters. So a starting lineup based purely off of movie characters for a baseball team. Let's start this process. Can
we draft the coach too?
I mean, I think Lou Brown's the coach. I think that just automatic. Oh, well, we could argue it. Anyways, let's start with the team, and then if we want to do the coach, we can do the coach. Let's go just in numerical order, 1 through 9. And so let's start with pitchers, boys. Let's start with pitchers. Who we got to come up with 3. We have to come up with 3 pitchers that we want to represent the best baseball movie team of all time.
Yeah.
Start throwing out some names. I think we got one name we can all agree on.
What's that?
Wild Thing.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. Wild Thing's got to be on that list.
Wild Thing's got to be on there. I think so. But I mean, are you getting Ricky the Wild Thing?
No. You're getting the best version of
the best version. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Correct. All right. Well, if we're doing that, then I mean, obviously the number 2 starter is going to be Nuke Lelouch.
And look what just came up in the comments from from Sir. I just gave away my last pick. Serge says Nuke Lelouch. All right, so Nuke's great.
Yeah. I mean, and then Rosenbagger. You got to go Rosenbagger.
Henry
Yeah.
Rowan
I was going to go Rowan Gardner.
Yeah, you got 3 starters that can just throw gas. Are you kidding me?
Right, and I knew we were going to have Billy Chappell come up, as Sean just put in the comments.
Sure.
I knew that. I knew,
sure.
But Billy Chappell is kind of annoying. It's not my favorite.
I mean, Kit Henson's your 5th starter, right? She throws junk, right? But she's like can give you 4 or 5 innings.
Yeah. Montgomery Brewster is a great one. Serge put that, but
Ooh.
To me, the 3 names that we immediately came up with are the ones that I thought of.
Yeah.
Wild Thing, Nuke Lelouch, and Henry Rowan Gardner. Well, who's going to hit that? Who's hitting that?
Nobody. Especially the movement Rowan Gardner has on his pitches.
Oh yeah, you've got. Not only do you have the freakish broken arm fastball, but if it's not working, he's got the floater.
Yeah,
nobody else has the floater like Rowan Gardner.
Well, remember the twirly twirls that like he does like on his fastballs too sometimes.
Yeah.
The little spinny spins.
Yeah.
Plus, you can pinch run him in situations, and he's going to get under the pitcher's skin.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you need someone to get in there and take a walk, he's only going to stand in the left corner of the box, the bottom left corner of the box, and he has no strike zone. If you need someone to get on base, you put Rowan Gardner in the box to pinch it.
There's arguments to be made for, and I'm not going to remember all their names, but there's arguments to be made for the other guy from Major League, the fucking knuckleball.
Oh, Eddie Harris?
Eddie Harris.
Hell yeah. He can eat up innings for you.
There's an argument to be made for Tony Danza's character from Angels in the Outfield, because that's just heart and guts from that dude. But I think if you're making me pick a top 3, which I'm making myself do, I think we're going Wild Thing, Lelouch, and Rowan Gardner. I think that's easy.
That's it. That's all you need going in the playoffs.
Let's go to number 2, because this is the one I'm most excited about. The catcher. And I've got a clear 1-1 in my mind, but I want to hear what you guys say.
I will tell you the clear 1-1 that's eliminated for me. Dottie Henson. Clear 1-1 eliminated.
No,
for me.
She's 1-1. She's 1-1.
No.
Yeah, easy.
Nope.
1.
Not for
easy
me.
1-1.
Not for me.
Easy 1-1.
Dottie Henson is a little soft up here. Well, how she let Kit run her over at home plate?
Nah.
Right? No. She let Kit win because She doesn't have it up here. You give me Jack Parkman any day of the week.
No way.
Jack Parkman, power hitting catcher. He
chokes in the big moments.
He ain't letting anybody go by. He's not getting run over.
He's got that hip swing that makes the women of Cleveland all puke.
Yeah, but you know what? That's all right. It results in home runs. No. Okay? Give me Jack Parkman with Ham Porter sitting behind him on the bench. That's it.
The only answer here is Dottie Henson.
It's not. You're crazy. Dude, you're crazy. I don't want a mentally soft catcher. No thanks.
Thank you. Serge in the comments says, Chad says Dottie is a head case and then picks Parkman. What a dumb thing to say. Parkman got mind fucked all the way through the Major League movie. You can't pick Jack Parkman.
No, he didn't. He didn't get mind fucked at all.
Dottie Henson's husband came back from the war injured, and she came back to play in that game.
Sure, she came back, but then you know what? She saw that she felt so bad for her sister that she let her run her over at home plate and purposely dropped the ball.
Give Kit
bullshit.
Credit.
No.
Give credit. Give Kit credit. Donnie Henson.
Fine. Hey, you know what? Hey, you know what?
It was the only reason that league existed.
Hey, we're picking two flawed catchers here, so then you know who's the better one out of all of them? Crash Davis. Crash Davis is the better catcher out of all of them.
No, Crash Davis.
Which one was? Pause. Which one was the best one at their best?
Dottie Henson.
Parkman.
No, it wasn't.
Parkman.
No.
Parkman.
Dottie Henson. Easy.
Parkman. Sorry.
You know what Parkman did? Parkman came to I got the winning argument. You're welcome. Parkman came to Cleveland. He had the hip swing that made all the women go crazy. And then he exploded the locker room. He was a locker room cancer.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible piece of shit, Parkman. He goes to the rival and then fails at the rival. No. Jack Parkman's a bitch. Dottie Henson is the clear starter at catcher.
He ran in to old Ricky the Wild Thing Vaughn. He ran into old Ricky.
Cancer.
Okay? Dottie Henson felt so bad for Kid, and I just want to let her win, and I'm just going to let go of the ball after she runs me. No.
It's Dottie.
No.
It's Dottie.
Fuck the barehanded catch. No. The Dottie Henson is soft. Soft.
Right. Joe, pick Dottie or Parkman. You got to do it, Joe.
I don't know. It was Dottie.
Hey!
Bullshit.
Get Parkman off my screen.
I would rather have Crash Davis over Dottie Henson any day of the week. I would rather have Ham Porter over Dottie Henson any day of the week.
Guess what? You're not getting her. It's Dottie. It's
bullshit.
Dottie, and Ham is the backup. By the way,
bullshit.
Ham Porter is the backup. Jack Parkman belongs nowhere near the team. All right, let's go. Let's get some infielders. Who's standing out around the infield? Who's standing out?
Oh, listen. Second base is hands down Marla Hooch.
Oh, easy Marla Hooch. What a hitter.
What a hitter. And that's also only because I don't know who else we could put at second base. So Marla Hooch is the winner.
I'm going to run over to third base, and I'm going to say you got to put Roger Dorn. Because, and here's why. Once Dorn bought into the team, he was great.
Yeah.
Once you got the Dorn buy-in, Dorn was a great player, and then he got too big for his britches, and he didn't think he had to do shit, and then he kind of sucked. But then he bought into that underdog team, and he was great. So you got to put Roger Dorn at third base.
Okay, I mean, coming off the bench is obviously Ray Mitchell from Angels in the outfield, so you could intertwine them. First base, oh man, I'm having trouble, right? Because like Luke Collins wooed Little Big League, the dude in Little Big League's mom. Like that's just enough.
I love Luke Collins.
But like, do you go Luke Collins or do you go Clue Haywood?
Oh,
right,
man,
right. I mean, Clue Haywood did also fail in the biggest moment, but really all Luke Collins was like an aging veteran that was like, "Hey, Billy's mom, I let me date you."
Yeah, but I'm gonna go. Oh well, we know our shortstop, by the way. I'm gonna go Luke Collins.
Okay,
because he was he was the guy. He came up. He was the opposite. He's the guy that came up big in big moments.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was the crafty vet that came up big in big moments, and he always had the best comments. He would always say some bullshit at first base that would get these guys off their edge, and boom, done. So I'm going to go Luke Collins.
Okay.
We know the shortstop. Everybody knows the shortstop.
Yeah,
There's
Benny
one
the Jet.
shortstop. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
And actually, who is the number 1 pick in? Well, he's Benny the Jet's in the conversation for 1 overall pick.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. I mean, I guess that depends on the parameters here. What are we talking about?
I'm just saying, if I came today and said you need to give me, like, let's say we were going to do this as a draft instead of trying to come together to build a team.
Yeah.
You get pick 1-1. Benny the Jet's in the conversation.
In the conversation, yeah, for sure.
So,
for sure.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Saying. Benny the Jet's obviously the shortstop. Nobody's going to disagree with that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends. It all depends on what you're looking for. But yeah, I think Benny the Jet is there for sure.
Who would compete with Benny the Jet? Well, nobody at shortstop, right? Like we're not.
Nobody at shortstop, right? But like again, like I said, it depends on what you're looking for. Are you looking for power? Are you looking for speed? Because here's the thing. Like here's the fun. I wanted to collab on like this lineup, but it's like, all right. So like after we decide who's playing at what position, you got to make the lineup, right? Like who's leading off, who's batting second.
We will. But we've got Dottie Henson at catcher. We've got Roger Dorn at third, Benny the Jet at at short. We've got who's at second?
Marla Hooch.
Marla Hooch at second.
Yeah.
And then you got what's his face from Little Big Leagues at first. So here's the thing on outfield. I think we've got 2 outfielders set in stone. Like I don't know that there's an argument for 2 outfielders.
Sure.
And I'm going to give you both of them. Maybe the person who is maybe over Benny the Jet at 1-1 overall is Roy Hobbs.
Sure.
The natural.
Okay.
The natural.
Okay.
That dude is blasting home runs so far that they're knocking out lights. And he's also like 72 years old when he does
right.
it. Like, it's outrageous. He's hurt. It's like Kirk Gibson, but better.
Sure.
And then in center field, like you can't go anything other than Willie Mays Hayes.
Right. I mean, and he's my leadoff hitter.
Of course.
He's my leadoff hitter.
Yeah, of course.
But what about left field? Where are we going left field?
So we got to pick another outfielder.
Yeah.
So I thought for a minute about Jerry from Little Big League.
Okay. I've got one in mind already.
We never saw him at his peak. I thought about Pedro Serrano, and actually that just came up in the comments.
He's my DH. He's my DH.
Serrano could be the DH.
Yeah.
And then I thought about one player. Oh, well, but I don't know if we could put him. I thought about Moonlight Graham.
Okay.
Although I think he might have been an infielder, but Field of Dreams, like to have a movie where. Are you leaving, Joe?
I'm leaving.
All right. Joe, do you have anything?
Cheer of the week. Palmer Steve.
Ooh.
There you go. Okay.
We'll expand on that. All right, Joe. Joe's got to leave, but we're gonna wrap.
Yeah, keep going, boys.
Wait,
all right, Joe. Love your face. Bye.
What London meetings? What are we doing?
Have we missed?
I've got someone in mind. I've got someone in mind in left field.
Who you got?
You ready? You sitting down?
What about where's Mr. 3000 at?
You sitting down? Mr. 3000 was a catcher.
Oh, well, yeah, he can't. No,
you sitting down? You ready for this?
Yeah, go
on. Kelly Leak, Bad News Bears. Huh?
Oh my God, I think I'm going to agree with you on this.
Come on, right?
I think I'm in total agreement with you.
Right? Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Kelly Leak was all world.
All world. All universe. I do kind of want Smalls on this team as like a utility player off the bench.
Yeah. He's the Brian Rocchio everybody likes.
Do you know? So I was actually thinking about this today. My son, if I were to compare my son to a movie character, it's Smalls. It's Smalls. Just unbelievable. Ooh, look at Surge. Ryan Dunn from Summer Catch, made the bigs and landed Jessica Biel.
He's a good
that's
fourth starter. He'll be a
solid.
good fourth starter,
Solid. That's
right?
solid.
Because he can get
Now,
rocked
listen.
every now and then, but every now and then he can put together a good game.
Well, in fairness, we probably actually need another starter.
Sure.
Because
Well, I mean, we make it starting 5.
Well, because no, I'm just saying Wild Thing is your closer, right? Like Wild Thing is your closer.
Okay. What about the Duke?
Yeah.
Wild Thing could be your closer. It could be.
Well, he is your closer. He is.
Yeah.
You got the music going. You got Wild Thing. He's your closer.
Sure. Oh, man.
Man, are we missing a pitcher somewhere? Where are we missing a pitcher?
I mean, it's a TV show, but Kenny Powers, can we count him?
Oh yeah, we can.
Can we count him?
You're damn right we can count him. Oh, I'll take Kenny Powers all day, every day.
Come on, you're fucking out.
I can feel it in my plums. I know that's not Kenny Powers, but that is Eastbound and Down, and it's my favorite.
Boy watch.
Take my plums to the farmer's market. Special 2 plums for 1 deal. Okay, all right. So okay, I'm gonna grant you Kenny Powers because whoa, yes, of course.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Kenny Powers.
Oh,
and who else?
Dude, no, I got one.
Well, we could do Chet Steadman.
Oh, okay. All right. So number 1. All right, who's our starting 5? Number 1. Henry Rowan-Gardner, unhittable when he's had the broken arm?
No.
When he has the broken arm?
So who do we have? Rowan-Gardner and who's the other one we had?
Nuke LaLoosh.
Yeah, Rowan-Gardner, because he throws 242 miles an hour. Like
okay.
You can't even see his pitch.
All right.
Then Nuke. Let's put Nuke at 2.
Okay. But we're saving Wild Thing for starting pitching or for closer, right?
He's the closer. He's bullpen pitcher.
Okay.
Oh, what about Bowers from Little Big League?
Bowers?
I know it was you, Bowers. I know it was you.
Okay. All right. Let me throw something else out at you. Maybe we can move Bowers to the bullpen. Maybe he's the setup guy. Right?
Okay.
Steve Nebraska.
Oh, Steve Nebraska, Brendan Fraser. Oh, wait a minute. He was unhittable. Oh, I love Steve Nebraska.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Okay. All right.
Okay. And then De Nunez. Sandlot. He's like in the 5th. He's your 5th guy. Or maybe long relief.
Man, no, I think I would go with. All right. Let's go with. I think Nebraska might be number 1. I think Nebraska.
That's true.
I think Steve Nebraska is our number 1 starter.
Okay.
Followed by Henry Rowan-Gardner, followed by Nuke LaLoosh,
okay.
Followed by the comments are going crazy. Rigo Sanchez, Bobby Rayburn.
Okay.
Man, I'm trying to think.
We can make a whole bench with this too, right?
You could do Kit.
Yeah.
Because Kit as a starter was great.
Yeah. I mean, clearly, and clearly, the manager of this team is either Lou Brown or Jimmy Dugan, right?
Those are the only two. Those are the only two. Well, if we're gonna try to do 5 pitchers,
okay.
Man, I'm trying to look up people that I'm not thinking. We got Nuke LaLoosh. We got. I mean, you could probably put Billy Chappell in at this point.
Sure.
Clear the mechanism.
Sure.
Kit Keller.
Sure.
Ed Harris. I mean, you could put any of those guys in.
Sure. Who is the guy from the Rookie? Like, you could put him in as a spot start.
Oh, yes.
He's not in the rotation.
Well, he was a bullpen guy anyways.
That's true. All
right, so let's go. Steve Nebraska, absolutely erased.
Clear number 1. Yeah.
Henry Rowan-Gardner. You're not winning games against those two guys. You're not winning games.
You're not.
Nuke LaLoosh, you'll get a couple games off Nuke because he's kind of dumb.
He's like your 15-game winner.
He's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But and Crash hates him. So he'll tell you what pitch is coming.
Right.
Let's go with, what do you think? You think Kit Keller?
She could be your fourth starter. Yeah.
And then maybe
Eddie Harris at the fifth.
Eddie Harris. And let's go with Eddie Harris.
Okay. All right.
And I think it's only because he's kind of a cancer in the clubhouse, but in a good way. Like, he's going to piss off Pedro Serrano.
Sure.
To motivate him.
He's your crafty vet. Yeah. For sure.
All right. So a catcher, we had Dot. It's the easy Dot. It's Dot for sure. Dot,
batting in the first. Batting first. Okay. Willie Mays. He's your leadoff guy.
Willie Mays Hayes. Not Willie Mays.
Willie Mays Hayes. He plays like Mays and he runs like Hayes. Second, Benny the Jet.
Marla Hooch.
Marla Hooch? Really?
Yeah, on base percentage. Not only can she hit the ball, but she gets on. She's not the fastest, but she gets on base all the time. That's all she does is get on base. All Marla Hooch does is get on base.
Okay.
And she can hit the ball to every part of the field. Give me Marla Hooch, number 2.
Batting third, Kelly Leak.
Batting third, give me Roy Hobbs.
He's
your best hitter.
Okay.
He's your best hitter. Roy's your best hitter.
Cleanup hitter's Pedro. Obviously, it's Serrano, right?
Serrano at DH cleanup. But here's what I want. I want Benny the Jet at 5 because I kind of want to restart my lineup right there.
Sure.
Restart my lineup.
Is Dorn in the 6th spot?
No, Dorn might be like 8.
He's 8.
Dorn might be 8.
You know what? Luke Collins at 6. Luke Collins at 6.
No, I want Dottie Henson at 6.
Okay.
I want to go Benny the Jet, who I think is going to hit a lot of doubles. That's why I'm putting him at 5. I think he's going to be a gap-to-gap guy. He's not going to hit a ton of home runs.
Sure.
But a gap-to-gap guy.
Yeah. Luke Collins is like your Eddie Murray of this lineup.
I want Dottie Henson at 6. So, yeah, it was Serrano, and then we're starting over with Benny the Jet.
Okay.
And then I want Dottie Henson to just drive. She's going to have so many RBIs just driving in Benny the Jet. Just driving Benny the Jet. That's all. Benny the Jet and Dottie Henson's RBIs numbers are going to, or his run numbers and her RBI numbers are just going to matter.
Sure.
And now it gets interesting because who do we have left? We got Lou Collins.
Yeah.
We got Dorn. And Dorn. And who was our last outfielder?
Mays, right field Hobbs, left field Leak. Kelly Leak.
Yikes. So you probably go Kelly Leak next because no, you know what? I'm going to switch this.
Okay.
Kind of Sandy Alomar style. Remember, Sandy Alomar never batted real high in the lineup.
No, he was always 9. He was always last.
No, he was always kind of the 7 guy. He would hit 7.
Yeah, that's true.
So give me Dottie Henson at 7 and give me Kelly at 6.
Okay. All right.
So give me Benny the Jet at 5, Kelly at 6, Dottie at 7, give me Dorn at 8, and give me Lou at 9, because Lou's a guy that can kind of set the table a little bit too.
Right. Lou's a good turnaround guy, like to back to that top of the order.
Yes.
Okay. All right. There we are. Look at that. Look at us.
Now, for the coach, you've got Lou Brown.
Sure.
You've got
Jimmy could be like the bench coach. Jimmy Dugan could be like the bench coach.
Who?
Jimmy Dugan could be like the bench coach.
No, Jimmy Dugan's a terrible bench coach. the worst of the bench.
Listen, he'll scratch his balls in the 7th inning for at least a solid 3 outs.
But you know, we sat and we kind of forgot about Bad News Bears for a minute until you brought it up. But Walter Matthau with Bad News Bears, man.
Yeah.
Talk about a guy that got the most out of the least. So
That's true.
I actually think Walter Matthau might be your best manager.
Yeah.
I don't remember what his name was in the movie, but he might be your best manager.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
And then maybe Jimmy Dugan is like a hitting coach. And Lou Brown as a bench coach.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Oh God, that's an all-star like managerial lineup. That's an all-star managerial lineup.
Why is he still awake?
What's up, Patty? You up playing video games? Is that what you're doing? You up playing video games? Huh?
You know where me and Patty are going on Saturday?
Yeah, SummerSlam.
SummerSlam, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. If Fletch was up, I'd be like, we're going to SmackDown.
All right, I'll help you in a minute. We're almost done. Go. Okay. All right. I love that. I think we can. I think that was way easier than I thought it was going to be. The only big fight was a catcher, and I won because obviously.
Sure.
Dottie Henson.
No, it's not. It's not the right one.
It is. Jack Parkman's a bitch. I don't even know if he makes the bench. It's Dottie and it's Ham, and Jack Parkman's watching from his couch.
Shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
All right. Let's do our last segment of the show, and let's go.
Oh, Walter Matthau's Morris Buttermaker.
Morris Buttermaker. Yes. Yes. I think he's my manager. He's my manager. All right, let's do our cheers of the week. We already heard Joey's, so let's roll with that. Chad, what about you? Who's your cheer of the week this week?
Oh man. Whew. I think I had a better cheer, but my cheers, like two of them, is going to go to the women's, the U.S. Women's rugby 7-on-7s for that incredible finish.
Let's go.
And it's going to go to the city of Philadelphia, man. What a cool ass city.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time.
Yeah.
The people can suck there, but otherwise, great town. Great town.
I believe you.
My cheer of the week, and this is going to be recency bias, but my cheer of the week goes to Jeff Passan. Because you know how, like in other sports, when it comes to big breaking news, you've got guys that kind of fight over it, right? The NBA is famous for Wojnarowski versus Shams Charania, right?
Yeah.
And they fight over who's going to break news. And the NFL's got about 27 dudes that try to break news. And only Jeff Passan breaks news in Major League Baseball. He's the guy. Every single thing that happened on the trade deadline, Jeff Passan was the very first guy that broke it.
Right.
It's unbelievable the way he does things. And even the guys that like used to be the newsbreakers now just revert back to Jeff Passan. So I'm giving my cheer because it was baseball's trade deadline, because it was a busy time for him. I'm giving my cheers to Jeff Passan because holy crap, the work that guy does is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I'm giving him a cheers.
Solon, Ohio's own Jeff Passan.
Let's go. All right, Chad, anything else before we get out of here?
No, man, I'm good. Good.
Dude, I'm excited. I'm taking he will not leave us alone now, but it's okay. It's the end of the show. I'm taking this dude and I'm taking my wife. I'm so excited. I'm almost more excited to take Katie to SummerSlam on Saturday.
Wow.
But we're all going to be there.
How did you convince her to go?
I just bought the ticket and I said,
You're like, we're going.
Yeah. Yes.
I still may end up there. We'll see. I'll let you know.
If you end up there, let me know.
I don't know of anything.
All right. Right. But we're going to be at SummerSlam, a huge weekend in Cleveland sports. We got the Guardians, the best team in baseball right now, the Cleveland Guardians. We got SummerSlam at Brown Stadium. We'll report from all that stuff. But listen, that's going to do it for episode 223. The last thing that we've got to do tonight. All right. Hey, all right. The last thing we got to do tonight are our thank yous. First of all, our first thank you goes out to Hayden Grove. Follow him on Twitter at H_Grove. He reports on all Cleveland sports, but specifically he does great work with the Guardians and great work with the Browns. Go follow Hayden. Shout out to him for jumping on with us. We love the insight he gave us with the Cleveland Guardians. Shout out to all of you, everybody that joined us. Everybody that joined us live. Get out of here. Everybody that joined us live tonight, we love you. We appreciate the fact. Hey, too much. Everybody that joined us live tonight, we appreciate you. We love you. And everybody that didn't join us live, but you're going to watch us later or listen to us on the podcast version, we love you as well. Shout out to you. Shout out to the OBR for hosting us. Make sure you're tuned into everything OBR as they follow the Browns and then they hang out with us. And that's going to do it for episode 223 for Joey Whalen down in Nashville, Tennessee at Garage Beers. Joe, for Chad Meyer over on the east side of Cleveland at Garage Beers. Chad, for Patrick, I am Garage Beers Mike. That's enough. That he is. I don't know why he's even still awake, but he is. That's going to do it. We'll see you next week for episode 224. Until then, thank you and cheers, everybody.